To quote Gary Vee, I felt compelled to create this video. See, last week we put up an episode called AI Won't Replace You, but the business owner who uses it will. The response, I've got to admit, was extraordinary from right across the 172 community. The theme clearly hit a nerve. People know that they're falling behind. They just don't know where to start with AI. So this is a kind of follow-up video. Same honesty, more specifics, because knowing you have a problem is step one. Knowing what to do about it is step two. And that's what we're going to be doing today. So let's dive straight in. I want to kick off with putting a common cause on the table. For many people, the most expensive thing right now in their business is, well, it's not rent, it's not payroll, it's not even suppliers. It's the hours that they're putting in thinking about using AI instead of actually doing it, using it. I know because I get the same question every week. Michael, should I use Copilot or Gemini or Claude or whatever? How much time should I spend on it? Is it worth paying for? And I understand why people ask these questions, because the noise around AI is deafening. People got an opinion, everyone's got a tutorial, people are selling courses, and eventually what happens with people like you, good sales, is nothing happens. You research, you compare, you watch other YouTube videos, but meanwhile, your competitor, as we saw last week, the one who stopped asking questions 3 months ago, is now 3 months ahead of you. So today, I've cut through all of that. I'm offering 4 practical tips right to the core of the matter. I'm Michael Horesh. This is me for the 172 group. Let's go. Just a little diversion before we get right into the heart of things. In the past few weeks, our YouTube community has grown by about 20%. Now that's remarkable, especially for a channel that's really still finding its feet. And every single new subscriber is the reason that that growth is happening. Because when you click subscribe, the algorithm picks it up and pushes these videos to more people, people who need exactly this kind of content and support. So if this is useful to you, hit subscribe. It costs you nothing. It helps people like yourselves find this. And that's the way the 172 group, we can grow and we can grow together. So now let's get back to work. I want to start, of course, with tip number 1, which is a case of start. I'll give you an example of someone I'm working with at the moment. Wonderful guy, based in Jerusalem, great concept, smart, but he's been sitting on this project for over a year with no tangible progress. I'm sure you can relate to some of those themes. Now, the first thing I did, I told him to block off 1 hour every day, non-negotiable, and just work on his project using AI. No waiting for our next meeting, no waiting for the perfect answer, just open a platform, type in questions, get the prompts out there, build the thing. Was he familiar with AI? No. Now, 3 weeks later, and I swear to God, 3 weeks later, he has done more in those 3 weeks than he has in a whole year. Not because he suddenly got smarter, not because I gave him some formula, but because he started. That's the whole tip. The platform, whatever the platform you choose, will answer your questions in real time. You don't need to wait for a business mentor like Michael Horesh or a course or the right moment. The right moment is often, frequently, now. Open it, open your platform, type something, see what happens. Because everything else I'm about to tell you flows from this very point. Tip number 2. Stop agonizing over which program or which platform you're going to choose. Now, I'm going to save you a lot of some of the comparison headaches right now. You've got Copilot, Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and every week there seems to be something else out there. Never mind any of the Chinese versions, a new update or what's best in the class. Every week, people use this sort of indecision as a reason to wait a little longer before committing. Now, I admit that I'm no expert, but here's where I've landed. I now use Claude from Anthropic for 90% of my work. And the reason is very simple. I find that Claude goes much deeper. It's much more creative. It handles nuance better. It doesn't just give you the obvious answer. It pushes further when you would push it as well. But here's another very interesting out-of-the-box reason for using Claude. Without going into all the statistics, Claude is more widely used in Israel than almost anywhere else in the world. Israel, the startup nation. That means the most creative, fast-moving business culture probably on the planet is using Claude. Can't be a coincidence. Creative people gravitate towards the tool that keeps up with them. So if you want to move fast and think differently, that's your answer. Should you pay for a platform? Well, tip number 3 is all about free being fine to start with and then pay when you're ready. Get comfortable using a platform. And when you find yourself hitting the limits, when you find yourself being timed out all the time, just move over, upgrade. For me, that meant moving to Claude's paid version called Cowork for $20 a month. I pay monthly, as I say, not annually. Now, as I say, it's $20. I could pay a one lump sum of $17 times 12, and it will go out of the bank account immediately. But because AI is moving so fast, I don't want to be locked into any program. Who knows what will happen 3 months' time from now? Something new totally new could emerge. And I want to be free to move when that point happens, if and when that point happens. But on a practical note, what I do suggest is when you upgrade, if you're going to use Claude, you don't necessarily need to use the highest model or mode of Claude. I use Sonnet 4.6. It does the job very accurately. There is now 4.7, but it burns up tokens far quicker. I don't need to do that. I'm okay with what I've got. And finally, point 4. You don't need to know everything. You just need to know your thing. People say to me, Michael, there's so much to learn. How do I begin? I tell them, look at your hobby. Everyone's got hobbies. It could be cooking, sport, art. You don't know everything about your hobby. You're not a world expert, but you know enough to get real value from it and enjoy it. Now, I'm known in certain circles as a whiskey taster. That absolutely does not mean that I've tasted every bottle ever made, unfortunately. It does mean that I know enough to appreciate what I'm drinking and I find what I enjoy. AI is exactly the same. I've seen tutorials on Claude for CFO level financial modeling. I've seen tutorials linking Claude with Canva to build presentations decks automatically. Am I going to master all of these videos and all of these skill sets and more? No, I will not. Do I need to? No. What I need to do is to focus on the 20% of AI capability that creates 80% of my value. Client documents, business reports, marketing content, proposals, sorting out workflows. That's my zone. I go deep there. Everything else I can leave for later. Find your zone. Go deep there. Ignore the noise. Ignore the rest. So let me bring this back to where we started. The most expensive thing probably in your business right now is where you're not acting. Not the wrong platform, not the wrong subscription tier, not acting. Pick a platform. I'd say Claude. Use the free version. Block 1 hour, open it, type something about your business, see what it gives you. That's it. That's the whole starting point. The 172 community is growing because people here are done with waiting. They're building, they're pivoting, they're adapting. in one of the hardest business environments any of us have ever faced. And they're doing it by moving, by not researching. Come move with us. Subscribe to the channel, sign up for our newsletter, and if you want to go deeper, you know where you can find me. I'm Michael Horesh. Stop researching, start using.